Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. Today, it is just me actually doing another solo interview today, and I have Noah here with me, who is the new owner of Gutter Cat Gang. Noah, welcome to the show.
What's up? Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, excited to have you, excited to talk about Gutter Cat Gang, which is a project that's been around since, I think it came out in June 2021. So over 2 years, really popular projects. You know, you guys have the gutter cats, the gutter rats, the gutter pigeons, the gutter dogs. We were just talking about this, lots of different NFTs. And recently, as of a few weeks ago, it was announced that you are actually taking over and you're the new owner of Gutter Cat Gang, which to me was honestly surprising because I didn't really know there was, trouble with the current people that were running Gutter Cat Gang or what the situation was really, and maybe you can shine some light. But I'm very interested in why you decided to take over and, be the new mayor of Gutter City. But first, I want to get into your story on how you got into Web3.
I'm just seeing that gutter rat now behind you. I love that rat. I saw that on one of the first podcasts I watched of yours. And I was like,
nice.
Gotta. So I got an NFTs. So I started just probably pretty typical to people, but I'm not like, I would call it crypto OG. I started in 2021, early 2021 is when I first bought like Ethereum, Bitcoin. It wasn't doing anything crazy. It went up, and I had started a investment community during the COVID years. I've been trading stocks and options for 20 plus years. The financial market's extremely interesting to me. And a lot of friends and family that just wanted to learn more. It was obviously, a hot time for markets. They were flying, and like, that's when everybody wants again. It's like when people are making money, it's probably the same for NFTs, right? Like, people see prices go up and they want to be a part of it. So then I had a buddy in my investment group, and he was saying, dude, you got to get into NFTs. It's going to be a great investment because Coinbase, they're launching a marketplace. I'm like, okay, explain that to me. And then, he's telling me how it's going to open up to all these new users and they're going to get access and they're going to start buying NFTs. So then he sent me a link to a project that was 2 pixels, and they called it bears. And these bears would the pixels would mate and create another bear. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I'm going to put my money into. So I said no a couple of times. And then all of a sudden, I just dove in, and 16 hours over a weekend, did all the things you need to do to get started, and bought my first NFT, my 2-bit bears, and a couple other ones. And then my first mints were on Solana, actually. So yeah, and then I just caught the bug, like the communities and the excitement. And yeah, I'm like, this is such an interesting place.
That's awesome. Yeah, rest in peace to the Coinbase NFT marketplace.
Do you remember that when that was gonna be like the next big driver?
Yeah. And that never really took off. I thought it was interesting, though, that they had, I think the best feature they had was the ability for you to comment on people's NFTs, which was a bit dangerous because it's like, okay, then people are just going to bash your NFTs if they're not, a part of the community. But that was so interesting. And I do remember when they kept announcing Dead Fellas is going to be a part of it, and just slowly announcing all these projects. And then when it came out, everyone was like, oh, okay, let me secure my username. And then after that, I don't know, it felt like nobody used it. And yeah, it would just died. So rip to that. But okay, so when did you get into Gutter Cat Gang?
So my first gutter asset was a juice, a DNA one juice.
Nice.
And I kind of stumbled into the community. I really wasn't hearing too much about gutter. Like, I don't know. I was in other communities or just like, I just seem to be the type of person who gets into one community, one or two, and that's where I spend a lot of my time. I'm always trying to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the broader community, but I hadn't really heard of gutter. And then I bought it because it's deflationary. It seemed really cool, a cool machine. And then it was like, I don't know, it must have been like 4, maybe even 6 months later or something. The DNA 2 juice were coming out, and I saw the clone art for DNA, or not. Yeah, I started to look at the art more. I'm like, holy shit, like this is really fun. You get a juice and you create the clones. I started jumping on some spaces when they were doing the releases, and then I caught the bug, and I just spent a lot of ETH buying gutter because I really enjoyed collecting. And then I wanted to build my personal brand. Like I felt like this is such a, like I met so many people. It was one of the first communities that I joined, and like people wanted to have like live conversations with me. They're like, can you talk on the phone? So I'm like, well, okay. Like this is a pretty interesting community. And I met a lot of very professional people, a lot of upset people. Like people were upset because the founders weren't communicating very well, even at that time. And that was probably like July or August of 2022. But I just kind of ignored it because I enjoyed collecting and enjoyed the people there. And I was like, yeah, this really feels like home to me. So yeah, it was about that time. So like maybe a year and a couple months.
That is crazy because I do kind of have a story to share, which I'm not trying to talk shit on the founders, but when you brought up the communication, I remember in Miami, they threw an event. I think this was 2021, I want to say. They threw an event in Miami, and they like invited me to like moderate a panel. They were going to have Spotty Wi-Fi and I don't know, a couple other like NFT rappers. And there was going to be this whole thing. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll come. And then I show up, I find Spotty. I'm like, hey, you know where we're supposed to be? He's like, no, there's no stage or any, there was like not even a stage for us to even host a panel. It just was so confusing. We could not get a hold of them. Turns out they scrapped it, but they didn't tell us. I'm like, what? How are they going to scrap it and not tell us? Like, but I mean, it ended up being a great party, obviously. Like it was, I loved, they did a good job kind of putting it together. It was a whole 3-day thing, I think, if I remember correctly. And I think a lot of the Gutter Cat people, they have a good, strong sense of community. And so, yeah, it kind of felt like one of those things where the community's kind of keeping it alive. But I don't know. I'm curious on, you were talking with some of the community people. They're kind of frustrated with the founders. What were people saying, at the time? Like, and what were the founders doing? Does anyone know like what the founders were doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think people were telling me that the founders were like, in over their head. They're not communicating. Like, yeah, that was pretty much what I was, pretty much like your experience was what people were telling me, but I didn't actually experience it. So I was like, I don't really care. I've met so many cool people. And like, this is, I'm having so much fun collecting that like, I kind of have blinders on there, and I was trying to, like the gutter, like it still had a decent presence in the space, but you could tell it was on the downhill, but it was still definitely within saving territory. So I thought any day the founders could have came on and turned it around, everything would have been fine. And I would have been in a great spot because I bought assets for lower and I was excited about it. Well, that never happened. Like just kept on getting worse and worse, So like you said, you didn't really, like, I didn't even know that it was for sale or they were looking for a partner. It was kind of random tweets that I had seen. And I had worked with them like on the community toolkit, like just giving them ideas. Like I only met Dan, so I only met one of the founders, and like they kind of put me in touch with some of the other team members who were really, really smart and strong resources. They had a really good team there and whatnot. So like, yeah, like I wanted to have a strong relationship, but I could always tell like something wasn't working out for them. And then when you have no communication, couple AMAs in 9 months, like it's going to be tough to prosper in this space.
Yeah. So, okay, so you just kind of saw some tweets that made you believe that they wanted to sell Gutter Cat Gang, but nothing that was, kind of like set in stone, like, hey, we're selling this. Who wants to buy it?
Yeah, they didn't advertise it publicly. I think I felt like I was in the minority. Like, I feel like a lot of people knew that they were looking for a partner or it was for sale. Like it was a bad secret or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I spent a lot of time in other communities too. So I didn't really pay attention to it too much. But like, yeah, like I was just kind of screwing around because like I was like, okay, it's a bad market. I love this space. I could deploy more capital to NFTs. Maybe it's a good time to do that, but there isn't anything out that I'm really too interested in consuming or being a part of that I'm not already a part of. So like, I was like, well, I started to do projects as a community member, like with my IP. And once a few of those things started to work out, I was like, wow, there really is something special here. And there's potential with this IP. And then you see the Puma partnership and you see some of these things that they've done and you're like, yeah, there really is something here. So I was like, okay, maybe I could actually like own the IP versus just the NFT. So then I talked to several projects and I put out a tweet kind of saying that. And then one of the founders reached out personally and they're like, do you want to talk? And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah. And that's kind of how it started. But then it wasn't very smooth from there. Like started, what you.
It was rocky.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is public information, but like, how much did you pay them to kind of like take over?
Yeah. So I didn't pay them anything directly. It was the situation was, it was just all the holders were going to be taking this thing to zero, right? Like it was, I don't want to speak for them too much, but it was just a very difficult situation on them being able to communicate and agree on things. And the market had changed and the whole token, there's just a lot of, bad things happening that made it very difficult for them to respond. And it just got so bad. There was just no way, I think, for them to turn it around. So they had to do something. Otherwise, this thing was just going to zero and the community, cries for rug and other things were just going to get louder, right? So I think they realized they had to do something. And I thought, the best route was to create a new LLC and acquire the assets. Because what's special? The art, socials, like some of the things they've done that you can build off the sponsorships. So like, if you acquire the assets and bring that into a new LLC, like I wasn't going to give money to the founders. I was going to give money to starting this business, right? Like, because you're really starting the business from scratch, which it's even harder than starting a business from scratch because there still is lots of things you have to unwind and make difficult decisions with, like things that were in play that made a lot of sense when you're minting NFTs and making money. But when you're bringing your own personal capital in, you don't want to spend that and put it towards things that aren't going to be directly productive toward ROI or towards your vision. So yeah, like it was a decision that I had to be really comfortable with. Like you're going to cut these things off and you're going to like put it in a place for success.
Dang. Okay. So they're basically willing to let it go to zero, but kind of wanting to give it to somebody else to kind of take over because they knew they weren't going to really do anything with it. That's my understanding of it. So yeah, so you decided to take on responsibility, and I'm sure that's a lot of pressure, because you got all these, some angry holders, some holders that just forgot about, Gutter Cat, some people that aren't in the loop that are like, oh my gosh, there's this new guy, taking over. Have you felt a lot of like pressure and expectations of like feeling like you have to, now start running with this? Or is everyone kind of like being supportive, trying to help? What has been the feedback from the community?
Interesting time to take something over because expectations were at a pretty low for the space, for Gutter in general. I think myself as a community member at this point was just like losing hope, right? Like, but I still, again, saw value in the community, saw the potential with the IP. So like, yeah, I mean, it's like I knew I wanted to do something in this space, right? Like I had started my investment community. I saw the power of community. I liked putting out content, doing it at a smaller scale. So I was going to kind of like back into a project, like just like sort of move my IRL community into a kind of like start to merge my content with Web3 and see where it went. Like not try to mint anything or like I'm not, trying to like desperately to make money or anything. It was just like, I really enjoy the format and the environment. So I was going to do that. And then the way the market is and the way the IP can be valued, if you create the right foundation and build upon it, like it's a massive opportunity, right? Like, so almost at the end of this thing, I was like, man, this is going to be super stressful. I'm trying to get emotionally prepared. Like the reception has been much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, but there has been really difficult moments too, like very difficult moments, I will say, because people don't care about you, right? They can be very relentless. So yeah, like I'm working 12 hours a day and putting all my own money into this, and still people will find a way to make you feel like you're the smallest person alive in this space. So yeah, it's hard. Like you had to be emotionally prepared for that. So I felt like the benefit of starting with IP that I don't know if I could have ever created something this cool. Like it's sports. It's what I love. It's scrappy nature. It's perseverance. It's build with what you've got around you. Like there's really no other brand or IP like it in this space. And I don't know if I could have recreated that. So to have the opportunity to have to deal with some of the challenges of jumping into this space, like I think it just was outweighed with the opportunity. Like I can now get a huge jump start to what I wanted to do and like really give this a shot and prove that you can build a real business here. You can do something where you're not asking for money and then telling someone you're going to do something. Like you can bring your own money and then tell people you're going to do something, but I'm not taking anybody else's money and then promising things, right? Like it's a completely different, and there's only probably a few founders that have done that in this space. And I would bet that they had very different mindsets going into it. So yeah, like I think there's something so powerful here that you can't do just creating a business IRL. But also IP and all this stuff is new to me, but like, I feel like I have a pretty good handle on like one, the foundation, but two, like what's the most important thing, the community and delivering fun, exciting experiences and building on that.
Yeah, that's that. We had Luca Netz on and he was saying like, he also wanted to have a business in Web3, but he's like, man, it would have been so much harder to just start something from scratch. Like it's just easier to acquire an existing community, an existing project, that already has that community, the art, like everything already. And, you're just kind of building it up from there. So, yeah, I'm rooting for you over here. But okay, so I had a question from what you were saying too. Do you have any help? Like, did the founders have anyone on their team, or was it like literally just the founders?
So one thing I will say is the founders, they've been great with the transition of the assets. There's a ton of assets, brand assets, like there's just a lot of things that happen post-close on transferring them to my ownership in the new LLC. And yeah, like I'm not like, I didn't know how difficult it would be to learn, control, secure all of these things, but I wanted to learn it all first. Like I didn't want to just like bring in a team and then you take this, you take that, because then I would not understand like your costs and like where's the best place to invest in people. Like unless you do it yourself a little bit, then you can start to understand like, okay, now I see what this role will look like. Now I see what this one will look like. And I'm very protective of the culture. I've seen this firsthand in the startup world. It is so important when you have a small group to be able to just run forward and not have to have like pride getting in your way, ego getting in your way. It is common goal. We get after it. We can work together in an environment that, sets us up for success. So putting people in positions is like, I don't have cash to like just hire people. Like if I hired one or two people, I'd be like broke, right? Like, so, it's a big challenge, but it's also like so rewarding. And like the people that just brought on this last week, my gosh, like incredible talents, passionate, ambition. I know they're people that I can vibe with and work with, and things are falling into place from that standpoint. So that's when I know we can do this. It's about the people and bringing the right people in. And I really am not too concerned then, like I know we can deliver.
What is next for Gutter Cat Gang? Like, what are you guys working on? What's kind of the plan moving forward with it? And do you guys have any IRL merch coming up? Because I actually have a sweatshirt and some sweatpants, and I'm looking to get some more merch. So,
well, yeah, I'm gonna hook you up because I got a warehouse full of merch.
Oh shit! No way.
You must have known that. No, but like, yeah, no, I gotta hook you up. This has been really fun. But yeah, like they had a big merch business, right? And there's a warehouse full of it. Like, man, there's a whole collection that's done, created, ready to go, ship 1,300 items in a a serious collection. You've seen their other collections, so it's actually really good quality stuff that they put out and great partnerships. Like, it's one example. It's literally just sitting there, but they couldn't bring it to market because of the community and the sentiment. They would have just got crushed, And none of the merch is selling that's even out there right now because things were so challenging. So like, there's big bills for stuff sitting there and fulfillment centers and whatnot. So like, that's one of the areas I've had to, start to make some decisions on quickly. But yeah, like, I think IRL events are going to be a big part of what we do. And I think the whole aspect of, the NFC tags and taking a physical item to unlock a digital experience is super interesting to me. Like, not just to authenticate the item, but yeah, I got some ideas that are kind of simple that you can build in the tags and the chips to be able to just kind of unlock more emotional experiences for people that were at an event together. Like, I mean, it seems simple, and I'm surprised some of these things haven't been done before. But that's a really interesting place for us to go. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Merch. Well, I don't want to create a merch line and try to sell it. Like, that's not what I'm about. But do interesting things with it in the future. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, you're sending out some merch over there, so we have that to potentially look forward to. And yeah, IRL events, like, that's my favorite thing ever. I mean, that's my favorite utility for having NFTs is like just getting to connect with other people that have the same NFT as you. Like, I just think that's so cool. It's very fun. Do you guys know what your next? I think you had tweeted like there's like a pop-up happening or something. When is that?
Yeah, so I can't take any credit for this. Okay. This is another, I sent out some merch and I organized a few things, but no, I can't take any credit, but we're having a side gig at Ape Fest. So community member who is now on the team, who I'm just beyond excited for as well, to be our director of communications and Gutter Cat Times. She's just she's very talented, very ambitious, and she did a ApeCoin DAO proposal and received a grant to throw a party out there. So wow. We're going to have a little happy hour out there. I wish I could go to Hong Kong. It was just such short notice with all this stuff happening. I can't imagine being away from the desk for a day, let alone a couple of days,
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited to see all the pictures and the videos on Twitter when Ape Fest happens and all the surrounding events. Also,
we're going to do something in the Discord too. I'm like, why don't we do a live from Ape Fest or something to kind of loop people in that couldn't make it? Like, we're just going to try to think of innovative ways to include the community with things that are going on. Again, I don't think it's hard, and we have good people we're putting in positions to be able to do those things.
Yeah, that is exciting. Gutter Cat Gang is a strong community. I was going to say my rat actually I got from King Blackboard or Blackbeard. I forget his username, but yeah, he had sold it to me back in what I wrote down here, November 14th, 2021. So 2 years ago. And at the time he cut me a good deal for 0.9 ETH. Now the floor is much lower, but I was so excited. It's my forever hold. I love my rat. It has the Missouri hoodie and everything. And yeah, I always wanted to be a part of the Gutter Cat Gang. I do remember when they came out and it was I remember Pranksy was fudding them, And that was the only reason why I didn't mint. And I was like, why did I listen to Pranksy? But yeah, I'm glad it ended up taking off and, big, strong community around it.
And we have a killer group in Texas. Like they get together, they do IRL events. So like we gotta get you there and do something fun. Like
yeah,
they did a Mavericks game and a bunch of stuff last year. I know that they're planning another one too. And there's like 30, 40 people. So it's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I love meetups.
I think I saw your video from the Doodles one. I was actually going to go to that event because that was drivable for me being in Wisconsin.
Oh, you should have the camp in Chicago. Oh, I didn't know you have a doodle, actually. You have a doodle?
Yep, I got a doodle.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you should have went to that. That was fun. It was small because it was like just holders only. And yeah, it was a fun thing just to be able to see it before it kind of came out. And, obviously it's like catered to kids, but it's fun. And I think it's very Instagrammable too. For people that have Instagram, there's a lot of good photo ops. Yeah, that was fun going out to that event. Okay, so I had seen you tweet something about gutter frogs. I wanted to ask you about gutter frogs, which I don't know if you have any information about it, but someone was saying too that, the founders had said there was going to be gutter frogs like a while ago. And I don't know what's happening with that.
Can't sneak nothing by. No one's really brought that tweet up, and besides you, like put me on the spot with it. It was so funny because like I was at the dentist and I was telling my dentist all about it, and we were going through the gutter assets, and I may have shown him some sneak peeks of what potentially could happen in the future, and he's like, "That's my favorite. That one right there is my favorite." And you got to give him a big gold tooth on there. Make them gutter. And like, I thought it was so funny that he picked out a potential, art thing that we could do in the future. But yeah, gutter frogs are kind of fitting. They're kind of cool. Like
frogs are in the cryptodes, what else is there?
I mean, like, yeah, just kind of picture the assets that we have out there today and then think frog. And yeah, I mean, like here, let's be real with it, right? Like, I don't think I want to try to mint gutter frogs or something tomorrow. Like that's not good. Like we have way too many NFTs. Like we have a supply issue right now. It's very apparent. And we need to take some action on that. Clones was a cool concept when there was a lot of new people coming into the space, but now it just kind of depresses people because there's an oversupply and, things sit on the floor. But the art and some things about it, the mechanics were pretty cool. So I have a lot of opportunity to do some interesting things. And yeah, there's like new things that could be introduced, but I shouldn't say never. I'm not going to increase any supply at this point, but there's lots of ways you can do things.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I hope I get my hand on
there are some frogs that might be at my disposal, right? As one of the opportunities that's there.
Okay, cool. So you got some merch at your disposal. You got some frogs at your disposal. We're uncovering some things today, folks.
We got a lot of stuff. Like there's many different projects that were underway that couldn't be delivered because of lots of different reasons for the last 9 months. So it's like, now you just got to figure out what makes sense in this market. What does the community want? Like the fun thing about it is like, I'll join a bunch of spaces or I'll hang out in the Discord for a little bit. I really try to ingrain myself in the community just to kind of get a vibe and a feel for what's going to make sense. Like I've been a community member for so long in different communities. So I think I know, but you'll be surprised though when you start interacting. So it's like a study session a lot of times when I'm doing these things. It might seem like I'm chilling on a Saturday, just like talking about sports, but I'm actually, it's all a study session because like, again, like this is nothing without people and their interest and their engagement. So entertainment and delivering things has to be forefront.
Yeah. Doing some research. Like it's for research. I'm just chilling in this space. Do you think there's going to be another bull market for NFTs?
I think there's going to be a better market. A bull market is it's subjective to your thinking of a bull. I think obviously, like, history tells us, like, crypto is going to do really well, and it should do that in the not too distant future. And do I think NFTs follow? Like, why did I get into NFTs? Because I did well at crypto, and NFTs are definitely much more interesting. And there's communities and people and IRL events, and like, it's so much more than just like buying a coin for an investment. So, and I think PFPs and flexing stuff online when people make a lot of money in crypto will always be there and popular. I don't think like sociology and psychology is going to change too much on us. So when I put all those pieces together, like, yeah, I think dope PFPs and like exclusive items are always going to be a collectible and in demand. And, the flood of people that come into this space, how will it happen? Like, that's the avenue I see through people doing well in crypto. And then the internet just growing more and more interest in crypto and blockchain. And then, just the social dynamics of a PFP and a collection. Yeah. So a bull run. Yeah. I think we'll be in a better place. I think you see this with all collectibles, they're cyclical, right? They have times where they're strong and times where it's like any unregulated market, greed takes over and there's just an abundance of supply. And then it comes to a screeching halt, and then there's no supply for a while. And then the interest kind of comes back. Like, it's just sort of how markets worked. And this has been an unregulated place for a while, forever.
Yeah, a lot of people left. A lot of a couple weeks ago, we did a Sunday recap, and man, we had a bunch of Web3 companies that had just like quit, basically, or like, I guess quit. Or like they're like, yeah, we run out of capital, like we can't keep going. And it's like, man, it really does feel like we're in the trenches right now with the bear market. But it also kind of feels like when there's really bad times that means that there's going to be better times. And I do feel like we're starting to see a bit of the light at the end of the tunnel. ETH was pumping. I don't know what it's at now, but it was at like 1,700 the other day. And, it feels like things are going up. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But Gutter Cat Gang.
We're going to see another bull, right? Like, this, like, why would you and I still be here? Why would I be taking money out of my pocket? And, like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but, like, your time is your most valuable asset. And, like, you still believe in, you're here hitting the events. Like, you feel the vibes. Like, I don't see why that would change, for other people in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the people that believe in NFTs, I believe in NFTs. I do believe there'll be another bull run. Those people are still here. The people that still have hope are still here. The speculative, flippers are gone because they're just here for the quick money. But they'll be back. If there's another bull run, they'll be back.
Yeah,
and yeah,
no doubt.
Really, they'll come running back. Oh, is there more opportunity here? And then
it's like all those spaces, right? The resale market for things. There's always, no matter what it is, sneakers, tickets, like concert ticket, like everything. There's always somebody that's trying to get an edge and resell it. Like, I don't think it's too different. It's just much more fast paced and in your face in this space and easier to communicate. And, like, the FUD is a real thing and pumping and shilling's a real thing. So, like, it's just, it can be a wild ride sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm just pulling up my rapid fire questions here. We're going to go into our Gas Wars segment where I'm going to ask you, well, usually I ask 5 rapid fire questions and Michael asks 5. But since he's not here, I'm going with 10. I'm going for 10 rapid fire questions. So,
do I have to answer like really fast, or is that how it works too?
Yeah, okay. You can either, be quick, or if you kind of have a little backstory you want to share, like that's cool too. Some questions are quicker than others. So yeah, but we'll start it off easy. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I start work pretty early, like 6:30 usually. So by this time, it's 9:30, I'm winding down.
Yeah, bedtime soon. Okay, what is your astrology sign?
Is it bad? I have no clue.
Really? When is your birthday?
August 15th.
Okay, hold on. We got to look this up because I don't know. August 15th. astrology.
I know I'm a Leo. Is that what that means?
Oh yeah, you're a Leo.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's what that is.
I'm a Leo. All right. I knew that.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought it was like more in depth. I thought that was too easy for me. But I don't even know. What does a Leo represent?
Man, I'm not the right person to ask for that. I just know I'm a Cancer and I know my moon sign is a Leo. So whatever that means.
Okay.
You're like looking it up, like, what is
Yeah,
Leo?
now I'm interested. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
I'm
What
probably
is
on for that one. Not knowing that, someone's gonna rip me for that one.
you're good, you're good. What is your dream country to visit?
Oh wow. Like I have this thing about like Australia. For some reason, like I don't know. I would love to. I love my brother studied abroad there, and he just talks about it all the time. He loved rugby and some of the other sports, and just the environment, and everything out there. So yeah. But I really got to go to London and see all the EPL games. Like I haven't been to London yet, and I'm a big soccer guy.
Nice. What's the last thing you did for the first time?
I bought an NFT project.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty new.
Like honestly, I'm doing so many things for the first time every day because of this. Like, I don't know. I got us locked out of our Twitter account, our main Twitter account, and I'm having no fun trying to get back into that. So that was the first time I've been locked out of Twitter.
Oh no! All right. If you had to sing karaoke right now, which song would you pick?
Probably a Beach Boys song.
Beach
Because
Boys, right.
like when I was brought up as a kid, my parents brought me to a Beach Boys concert or Beatles. That was like my dad's favorite thing growing up. So like, I don't know, those ones are always fun. Maybe like Yellow Submarine by the Beatles or something.
That's a classic.
Have a fun sing along. I don't know.
Yeah. Something everyone knows and they can sing along to.
Yeah. So it can help me out.
Yeah. Help me out. What's one of your pet peeves?
It's definitely one of my biggest pet peeves is going to be around like it's kind of like wasting talent or not having like interest and ambition. Sometimes like you see it, like I can't stand it. Like if I just like I have to have something interesting or exciting. Like I'm just maybe it's a problem because like being content is always something I struggle with. Like if you want to get personal with it, like I've always just had to kind of push it and try new things and like yeah. So people that are like just totally content, I'm more jealous of it than a pet peeve.
That's interesting. What was your most unique pet?
Like I've had the pretty standard pet, but I had like a salamander when I was a kid.
Ooh, a salamander.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They're like black with yellow spots, I think.
Little lizard.
Lizard. Yeah, exactly. How about you?
I had a red-eared slider, a water turtle. Maybe that.
How big do those get?
Mine stayed small. I mean, small. I think it depends how big the tank is. Like if they have more space, they can get bigger. But yeah, they don't grow too big. Mine was pretty small, and then I ended up losing it outside because I felt like it needed some fresh air. So I would like let it go outside for some sun for like an hour. Then I'd put it back in the water in its tank. And then one day I put it outside to get some fresh air, and then I forgot about it. And then I was like, oh no, Tommy. And never saw him again. So rip to Tommy.
He must have been quick. He made a getaway.
I know. Well, he's probably running to find some water because, he needed water to survive. So rest in peace. But okay, moving on here. What was your dream job as a kid?
I mean, I think I was like a lot of kids, like professional athlete, like you see them on stage. Yeah. So like I was always like huge into soccer. So like, yeah, I would say professional athlete, I think. Yeah.
Did you ever like play soccer in high school and stuff?
Yeah.
Like club league?
Yeah. I mean, I still like, I was playing 5 nights a week up until like I hurt myself. This was like an injury back in 2017, and I just keep playing, kind of trying to like, like change the way you play so you don't put too much pressure on it or whatnot. And then this spring, it was the second practice, and there's no more like cartilage in the joint in this area, and I got hit and it just like fractured the bone. I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore, so I have to like get it fixed. And it's like a 2-month recovery, so I've just been like delaying it, but I really can't live without soccer. I'm noticing I love it that much, so I have to get that fixed over the winter here. But yeah, like I played all through my life. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I met my wife on the soccer field. My first
Really?
co-game. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, so she also played soccer?
Yeah, she was playing on the team, and then I was friends with one of the people that was running the team, and they're like, "Hey, can you come play?" And I'm like, "I've never tried co-ed, but okay, I'll give it a go." And then came out and played, and we met there.
Wait, when was that?
This was July 18th, 2017.
Damn, you remember the date too?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I remember that day for some reason over my wedding day. I do know that right now too, but yeah, like for some reason that day was always like the most important to us.
Aw, that is sweet. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, what do you typically eat for breakfast? I like asking this one.
I actually try to eat healthy for breakfast because I have trouble later in the day with that. But so yeah, I'll usually eat a banana. And then cereal. Like I'm a big cereal person, and really lame cereals, Crispex, or even like these oatmeal square things that are pretty lame. So
you try to go like with the healthy cereals?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I used to love like all the fun ones, Lucky Charms, all those, but I grew out of them. But at least once or twice a week, I will get an order from the local cafe, and it's always French toast. Like if I could eat French toast every day, that's what I would dominate. Some smoked bacon. Yep.
All American breakfast. Okay, I think this is the 10th question. I kind of lost track of it. But my last question here is, what is something on your bucket list?
No, I don't, these questions, it's like I should have easy answers, but like,
well, it's sometimes it's stuff that you never think about, and so you're like,
like my bucket list might be really boring, but like I'm a huge, again, like I said, like soccer fan. I love the English Premier League, and I want to go to all those stadiums out there and just experience the madness and the environment and the passion out there, and like, so like to do a tour of like London and to go to some of these matches would be amazing. Maybe go to, so going to a World Cup was on my bucket list, and I almost went to the one in Brazil, and I chickened out, and my best friend who I said was going to go, and we were planning for like 2 years, and I chickened out on him because I didn't have much money and stuff back then. So like it wouldn't have been easy, but he saved and I didn't. But yeah, like my bucket list is go to a World Cup, but now it's kind of changed where I like the club soccer better. So maybe Champions League, which is like, it's just like a big tournament, probably the biggest one in the world, or, tour the games out there. I love it.
That's fun. I hope you make that happen. Maybe you and your wife can go on one of your anniversaries, right?
Yeah. I've been slacking on vacation. So as soon as we get this thing running nicely, it's going to happen sooner than later. I know it's like people looking from the outside are probably like, what's going on? What's happening? But like in my world, my head is about to explode, and I'm getting pieces in the right place. So it's not all coming through me. And like, it's going to be a much better environment to execute on soon. And yes, a vacation would be nice.
Yeah. Well, great. Sweet. Noah, thank you so much for joining and coming on the NFT Catcher podcast. This has been fun. I feel like I didn't really know much about, the whole situation. Now I feel like I have a way better understanding, and hopefully all the listeners feel like that too. And I think everybody's rooting for you and Gutter Cat Gang too. The comeback, rooting for the comeback. So yeah, congrats on acquiring Gutter Cat Gang, and wishing you the best.
Let's go. Thank you so much for having me. Like, I feel like I could keep chatting for another hour. Like, it's been really fun. And hope that, you know, you can make it to maybe one of our Dallas events, or like when we do have an event, we'll make sure that we have a stage or whatever you are told. We'll be there and
That's
more.
funny. That is
Because
funny.
I'm sorry that happened. So yeah, like maybe I can help make up for it a little bit somehow.
No, honestly, I was kind of relieved because it makes me nervous anyway to do public speaking, but I'll always just say yes if someone asks.
Really?
So I was kind of like, phew. Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
nervous? You do
Oh
this?
yeah, when
Me.
I mean, this isn't public speaking to me. This is like internet talking. Like, there's just you and Andy right now, like that. But like in front of you, see like hundreds of people like out there, like that is a totally different story. Yeah, so I'll get nervous, but I'll try to appear like I'm not. And so yeah, I was kind of relieved, but I was also like, what the heck? So yeah, it was fine. It was definitely fine. But yeah, I would love to. I'll have to, whenever you guys throw events, I'll have to come. Don't know if I'll go to Art Basel this year, or if you guys are doing any type of pop-up or anything for that, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have anything planned. Everything happened so quick. Like the Ape Fest
Right.
thing was just a blessing again from a community member that went above and beyond. So didn't have anything planned, but like I almost feel bad because people talk about that event in the past and they really want these events. So like I got to figure out a strategy that will, you know, not break the bank and just bring people together. So yeah, it's going to happen because like we have a great person that's going to be organizing and doing that stuff too. So
Sweet. All right, cool. Well, with that said, thank you all for tuning into this episode of the NFT Catcher podcast, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_Pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.